We be live. Hello, Durud and Shalom. My name is Armin Navabi.
And I'm Ali Samani, and welcome back to a special episode. First of all, as you may have heard in the news, another pause has occurred. Another chance for the Islamic Republic to make a deal has occurred. We'll actually give you the direct timeline of every single one so far. And this episode will be therapy for all of you guys who may be upset and wondering what is going on. Why are we doing this again and again and again? So, Armin, what was your reaction last night when you heard that Donald Trump said, "We are locked and loaded with the most amount of firepower since World War II. However, because the Islamic Republic came forward and is trying to negotiate seriously and at the request of other Middle Eastern countries, which would be Saudi Arabia in this case, we have chosen to give negotiations another chance."
My reaction was that Trump probably didn't want to attack to begin with. He made it seem like he was going to attack to bring the Islamic Republic to the negotiating table. And he did a very good job in making it seem like he was about to attack. And everybody, even the Israelis thought the attack is coming. CENTCOM attack was coming. Thought the attack was coming, but it's possible that attack was not even planned, and this was all to pressure the Islamic Republic to come to the negotiating table, back to the negotiating table, to scare them. And they did.
Correct.
They came back to the negotiating table. The problem is that whatever they offered at the negotiating table, they're gonna violate it.
Correct. And so we have our first piece of therapy for you guys, which is that in Iran, the Islamic Republic state media, a lot of them are reporting that they have already fired a anti-ship cruise missile towards a ship over the past hour in the Strait of Hormuz. So we're waiting on verification from that to see if that's true. That would be ridiculous. I mean, even yesterday when the quote unquote peace talks happened again, they hit 2 ships. So for them to hit another one today screams internal discord. It looks like what may have happened here is not as easy as it may seem to us. So for us, we're well versed in Iran. We know that there's different factions. Someone can come out and say, "Hey, America, yes, we'll give you whatever you want." That doesn't necessarily mean they actually have the power to do that. Someone else will stop them internally. And we'll talk about that in just a second here. So here's what alarmed me. So according to the Wall Street Journal, part of this so-called deal is actually lifting oil sanctions. Armin, didn't we see them lift oil sanctions the last time? They lifted oil sanctions first. The Islamic Republic sold $9 billion worth of oil, which, to be fair, is controlled by the U.S. But they got the carrot first and no stick to push them along. And I would not want to see that happen again this time. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the Americans are not stupid. They know that the Islamic Republic is going to violate this deal. I just think that the calculation is that there's too much oil infrastructure that is too vulnerable sitting there without a defense system being able to protect it. And the if they want to go all out with the infrastructure of the Islamic Republic will be able to do the same thing, especially in Saudi Arabia. Hence why, which is the reason why Saudi Arabia is very sensitive about this. We don't have enough defense for being able to protect all the oil infrastructure and many other infrastructure there if we want to do such an attack. So the optimistic take is that given that the Americans know that this is the case, they're planning for. So here's the pessimistic take and the optimistic take. Let's go with the optimistic first. The optimistic take is that because there's not enough defense for all the infrastructure around the Persian Gulf, you have to plan for something a lot faster and bigger. And that takes time. And the United States is just dragging this on to be able to prepare for that big, fast attack. The negotiations, the ceasefire is an excuse to prepare for something so fast and so big that the Islamic Republic wouldn't even have the opportunity to, rain down missiles upon the oil infrastructure around the region. That's the optimistic take. The pessimistic take is that, no, it's the Islamic Republic that is dragging this and making it longer just to get to the midterms. And there is no major plan for a big operation. And the Islamic Republic thinks that as long as they could drag this on to the midterms, after the midterms, the Democrats are going to win, and President Trump will not be able to do as much as he wants to because Congress has the power of the purse.
We're going to cover everything you just said. And everything you just said is a very good bunch of points here. Before we get into that, Nabavian came out and said something about this. So a member of parliament of the Islamic Republic made a statement. And what he said was this: following the heavy blows from the warriors of the resistance front, he means the terrorists, the rise in energy prices, the depletion of strategic reserves, and domestic political pressure in America, following all of this, okay? Unfortunately, after all this, some individuals in Iran who are motivated by various factors, including the desire to rescue the enemy, have once again begun thinking about negotiations. This group should know that such negotiations will not be acceptable to the loyal and resilient Iranian nations. This is Nabavian, a member of the Paidari camp of the Islamic Republic. The people who listen to this guy are the extreme Durkas, the ones that you will never be able to change their mind, the ones who the Islamic Republic, the 2, 5, 10% of the population the Islamic Republic needs under their control to stay in power. They listen to this guy. This guy just came out and said, we got some traitors here in the Islamic Republic who want to negotiate. Traitors. America is on the back foot. They ran out of oil. There's political pressure. Gas prices are high. And now we're trying to deal with the Americans? Is Ghalibaf in his right mind? Is Araghchi in his right mind? Why would we negotiate with the enemy? This is a pattern we've seen 8 times. Actually, 8 times. So already people in the Islamic Republic and these analysts are coming out and saying stuff like that. They're saying stuff like that. They're saying stuff like this. They're saying control the Strait of Hormuz means that we control both routes. We'll never let the US just take one of the routes for itself and carry on willy-nilly. And more and more. There's no final deal made. Trump's going to retreat from his threats. We got to stay strong. All these people saying this kind of makes me think that, hey, maybe the Islamic Republic is not really that unified when they tell you they're going to make a deal. So here's the thing. Here's something that's gonna make you guys feel better.
So before you say that, Ali, first of all, you're right. Like, it's very unlikely that they will make a deal. But even if they do make a deal, they will violate the deal.
Completely correct. Completely correct. And, that's exactly something that we have to talk about in just a second. The Mujtaba factor in this, the different factions, there is no way that they can make a deal. But I want to make sure you guys feel better for a second here. This is a pause. And a pause buys the Islamic Republic time. It doesn't give them relief. They still have crippling economic pressures, internal division. At some point, there's going to be some sort of a bloody coup within. They're not going to peacefully come to terms with each other in the Islamic Republic. And most of the country is under the poverty line. The people want to rise up and take back their country as soon as possible. And actually, Prince Reza Pahlavi's team released something for us regarding the people. We'll take a look at that. Iranians in Iran know what the true economic situation is in the country. They also know they deserve better. But over the decades that the Islamic Republic has clobbered them on the head, repeatedly saying, you guys are infidels, you don't follow Islam, you're not that great, restricting them, hijab rules, all of this and that. The Iranian people, in my opinion, have forgotten who they truly are. They deserve much better than this. They're close to America. What other countries in the Middle East do you see that they try to learn English on their own, try to become closer to American culture, they try to learn and innovate in their scientific. Iran produces the highest amount of PhDs in Asia after China. Its population does, a lot of them, especially the younger generation, speaks English. These people deserve so much better than this. So let's go back to the government. The government, with this pause, evades external accountability. The countries around it are buying time for it. Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are doing their best to keep the Islamic Republic alive. And on that front, right now, it seems the Islamic Republic is doing good, except for the fact that the entire American military at this point is right on their doorstep. And every week they're getting threatened from a massive strike. What does this do? The fact that they're forced to go back to peace and a deal forces them to deal with their problems internally, which are immense. Some people in the Islamic Republic, we've shown you guys this over the past few months, they are crying out to go back to war so bad. They want it because they know internally they're going to get screwed over if they have to focus internally on division and all of that. They want to go back to war. They want a common enemy, and they don't like this at all. Global trade for the Islamic Republic has collapsed because of the blockade. They're not making any money. It is not looking so good for them. So while this pause is continued, and while I'm completely frustrated at how much longer this has to take, and we have to see, potentially us even going to a dead end, know that at the same time, the situation in the Islamic Republic, for them economically and diplomatic, everything is terrible. It might not be so good for the United States right now, but it's terrible for them. Armin, what do you think about the cycle that we've seen so far? I mean, this is actually the 8th time. How is the Islamic Republic doing now, the 8th time that we see a pause compared to the first time?
So the Islamic Republic is now very emboldened. Their understanding is that the United States is the reason why they're canceling their attacks is because they can't attack. They think they must have the upper hand. They think that they are winning this, and the Americans are backing out every time because they can't actually deliver on the threats. So they think that why should we even agree to a deal, given that the Americans have proven that they cannot follow through with their threats? That means that we need to escalate. That means that we need to keep, expanding. We shouldn't accept the deal. Their understanding is that President Trump walked into a war that he thought it would be easy, that the Israelis convinced him that this would be easy. He walked into it, and now he's stuck in it, and now he wants to leave it. So, but they're not going to let him leave. They say, like, we got you right where we want, and you keep threatening us, and then every time it gets to the deadline, you don't follow with the threat. So, but you want to leave, but you can't leave with the Strait of Hormuz being taken over by us. So you're basically threatening us to get rid of the Strait of Hormuz, but we're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz so that you're stuck here, and we could keep hitting you with our missiles. And even though you have a really good air defense, you're losing a lot of money, and we're basically exhausting all of your missile defense, and we're going to keep throwing missiles at your air bases in the region until it gets shrunk to dangerously low levels for you. And not only that, we haven't even done the most we could do, which is basically attack the oil infrastructure in the region.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. the missile interceptors, if they're such a big deal, why would the U.S. military, in a military plan, wait for their own stocks of interceptors to keep on getting depleted by Islamic Republic ballistic missiles? Why not go on the offense? Take out the missile city entrances, take out the launchers, put some surveillance up in the air. The best defense is a good offense. We've been saying that for quite a while now on that front, and that's actually what Brad Cooper, the commander of CENTCOM, is advocating for. Now, his superior, Dan Kane, is hesitant because he sees things on a broader picture. What if there's a war with China? What if something escalates to be bigger? We need those interceptors for that. But, Armin, here's the thing. The United States is bringing in more and more equipment from around the world this time. They are bringing in, through Globemasters, these are heavy airlifters from South Korea. So they're bringing them in from South Korea all the way to the United States, then from the United States across the pond to Europe and the Middle East. I took a look at these planes and what those bases have. Those bases have Patriot missiles. They have Patriot missile systems, and these are heavy airlifters. The Globemasters are probably the biggest plane in the United States Air Force, and largely we're believing that they are bringing in more Patriot missile and THAAD and more missile interceptors from Asia, from Korea. Guys, this is right next to China that they're bringing this equipment from, which is very interesting. So in addition to that, you're also bringing back radars. So these are going to be more airlifts, more Globemasters from Europe coming in. These are bringing in radar, we believe. The radars that were destroyed as early warning systems in Kuwait and Bahrain. Keep in mind, you might think, oh my God, those early radars got destroyed. That's terrible. That's actually their purpose. They're really expensive, but you put them there. They're early warning. They're meant to get destroyed and taken out first, but you get that early warning. That's what's happening. So we're bringing back in some of those. And we can even see on the map that we spotted the Abraham Lincoln actually directly. So as of 24 hours ago on the satellite, we were able to see that the Abraham Lincoln, oh, let me make this bigger. Why the picture's like that? So the Abraham Lincoln is right there, but it's alone. And it's within Islamic Republic ballistic missile range. So that begs the question. I'm actually kind of curious. I don't know if anyone knows in the chat, but why is it alone? There's actually no destroyers or any support ships around it. The Abe Lincoln is on its own right now, and it's only 200 kilometers off the coast, which puts it in range of missiles. I've yet to find an explanation from that, but hey, they know what they're doing better than any of us could possibly imagine. So that's in terms of the equipment. We're still bringing in a ton more. This time we're switching into the heavy planes, not the KC-135s or 17s. These are the Globemasters, massive planes coming in. And at the same time, we can see in Iraqi Kurdistan that we continue, that would be here in northern Iraq, we're continuing to evacuate U.S. forces from Erbil, taking our Patriot missile interceptors. We're bringing them back to, looks like either Israel or Saudi Arabia is my best guess. And we'll see in the end where those end up. So the preparations, guys, are all there. The deal is going to fall apart the same way it did the past 8 times. Armin, what would make you start doubting U.S. intentions? Could it possibly be troop removals, equipment removals, or something else? What would make you start being like, okay, this is not going the way that we wanted to?
Well, okay, so it's already, I wouldn't word it like that, because we have to always remind people the United States has inflicted more damage to the Islamic Republic than we ever could have imagined, right? So everything that we talk about when it comes to United States doing what we want or what we not want, the United States' responsibility. I mean, you're American, so maybe you could say that. I'm not American. So the United States responsibility is to the American people, not to the Iranian people. The United States, the U.S. government should move only towards U.S. interests, only make decisions based on U.S. interests. The fact that we Iranians benefit a lot from United States doing what is best for United States is because we have a lot of mutual aligned interests. So when it comes to me as an Iranian, looking at what Americans have done, maybe obviously it's not as much as we want, but what we want is not the issue. What America wants is the issue. And whatever the United States has done has already been more than what we could expect it, and we should always be grateful for that. Okay, so let me just say that. But if you're asking what United States would do, what could United States do for us to realize that this phase of the attacks are over, is obviously if they start moving their airstrike carrier groups and their amphibious groups out of the region. That would be a huge signal. If the Islamic Republic is not toppled and they move things out of the region, they will eventually be back anyways. Because one way or another, the Islamic Republic and United States are at odds with each other. And for as long as the Islamic Republic survives, the United States will eventually come back to have to help finish the job. The job will be finished by the Iranian people, but as long as the Islamic Republic exists, it will eventually lead to a major conflict between the Islamic Republic and the United States at some point. It could be earlier, it could be later, but for as long as the Islamic Republic is there. Here's the thing: the United States cannot afford to allow. The United States is not going to allow the Islamic Republic just take over the Strait of Hormuz and have enriched uranium. And also continue to support its proxies all over the region. It's just not going to do that. Even if you pause, it will come back to it. And the Islamic Republic also is not going to stop enriching uranium. It's not going to stop trying to maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz, and it's not going to stop supporting the proxies and its terrorist groups all across the world. At some point, the Islamic Republic, if you leave the Islamic Republic alone, at some point they're going to get a nuclear weapon. At some point they're going to get biological weapons. At some point they're going to come to the United States and arm their sleeper cells in the United States with biological weapons. So the United States cannot afford to just allow the Islamic Republic to exist. So one way or another, we are going to go with regime change. So the question is it going to happen sooner or is it going to happen later? But it has to happen at some point.
Correct. We actually have some breaking news for you guys at the moment. Looks like Donald Trump has spoken to the press, and we have some audios for you guys that we can share with you regarding what he said about what just happened. All right, Donald Trump, Mr. President, let's see what you have to say.
What prompted you to call off the strikes last night?
Oh no, it's the low audio.
UAE, and by Qatar, and by Iran. We were all set to go just about at this time right now.
Okay, so he said Saudi, Qatar, UAE, and Iran asked him to stop. And he said, we'll see. Since you guys want to talk and stop us, we'll see.
Asked to call it off, you got to sort of say, well, let's see. And the reason they asked is they think there's a deal. There's a deal on Hormuz.
He thinks that the reason they asked him to stop and the reason he did stop is because he thinks there's a deal. Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, there's the transcript. I was asked by Saudi, the UAE, Qatar, and by Iran to hold off strikes. It would have been a massive attack. When the allies ask you to call it off, you got to say, well, let's see. Allies think there is a deal. There is a deal on Hormuz, and it will be a deal on the nuclear. Well, I guess the best I could tell you guys is let's see on that one. Still 100% confident. Let me tell you guys, 100% confident there will be no successful deal with the Islamic Republic. Not a chance. Not a slight chance. I think there was a second audio. I'm trying to get that one. Actually, no, that was the only one. Okay. Gotcha. So, yeah. Oh, there it is. So he also had a written statement, looks like they got from him, that tomorrow afternoon will be the start of talks, and that it would save a lot of lives. Okay. We're talking to them. It begins tomorrow afternoon. It would save a lot of lives. All right, got it. So tomorrow afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who's going to be talking on either side here, but maybe Adokchi, maybe the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic, my best guess. All right. Well, with the deal now, we also have, yes, the study of war. I managed to get this picture from them. This is what they're proposing, essentially. The Institute for the Study of War came out with this image showing what a Strait of Hormuz deal is going to look like. You guys might not believe your eyes, but yes, it is the exact same as we've seen for the past few months. The same proposal. Believe it or not, Armin, can you believe this? We're going to achieve a major breakthrough, Armin. Promise. It's going to be a major breakthrough with the same proposal. It's going to be different this time, though. I promise.
Wow.
I think this is the fourth time that we're trying this exact Strait of Hormuz operation.
So this deal is different, though. This is a different agreement. So IRGC apparently came with an agreement with President Trump. So the Islamic Republic has apparently agreed to. So President Trump we're gonna come in. Look at this. Look at BB smiling. Look at BB smiling. I made BB smile. The BB smile was a threat, Ellie. The BB smile was a threat. Okay. It might be possible that they even told the Israelis that, yeah, we're going, just so that they move in a way that seems like they're going. So it might be also true that CENTCOM thought that they're going just so that everything looks like they're going. And the Islamic Republic, oh my God, BB is smiling. BB is happy. They're going to go. They're going to go. This time is different. And CENTCOM is moving around, making like they're moving in a way that is different from before. They're making it happen. So they came to President Trump and they said, how about this? The ships come through the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz through the Islamic Republic trade route, but they leave through the southern one, through the Omani one. Okay,
right.
So we're gonna allow that. We're gonna allow the Omani one. And President Trump was like, okay, we could work with that. And then as soon as that was done, the Islamic Republic came out and announced, like, yes, we're not doing that. Who said we're doing that? What? Like, we don't have an agreement. The Islamic Republic is saying that President Trump is having imaginary conversation with imaginary Islamic Republic officials. Okay, so President Trump is saying they come and agree stuff with me, and then right after they do the opposite. But the Islamic Republic is saying President Trump doesn't want to attack because he can't attack. So he comes and says that I'm about to attack. And then right minutes before he's about to attack, he comes out and says that I had this conversation with the Islamic Republic officials and they agreed to this and this and this and that. But he's talking to himself. He's not talking to us. That's what they're saying.
You know what? Farce News, the IRGC affiliated state media today in Iran, said the same thing. Hey, we never said we agreed to this. There's no talks going on with Donald Trump. We don't know what our foreign minister is saying. We never said anything like that. Oh, like one of the biggest news. Okay. Gotcha. Seems like a little bit of a Groundhog Day situation here. And here's what's happening, okay? So got the different factions, right? You can just ignore everything and focus on two. You can focus on the Ghalibaf faction, the Speaker of Parliament. He's the most powerful man in Iran right now. Then you got some of the IRGC commanders, who are the quote-unquote hardliners. So we got the hardliners and the moderates. They're all the same. There's no difference. They will kill you and I just the same. They won't hesitate. The moderate, Ghalibaf, okay, I say quote-unquote moderate, he's not a moderate, will try to appease the hardliners right now He's going to try to trick them. He's going to say, hey, yo, we can just trick the Americans. We can just tell the Americans that we are going to deal with them and this and that, but we're just buying time. Okay? That's what he's going to say to the hardliners. Now, the hardliners aren't stupid. They're going to see that. And they might agree with it, but most likely not, just like the last 4 times, 5 times they didn't agree with it. So Ghalibaf is trying to play both the US and the hardliners so that he can become the undisputed number 1. He's in first place at the moment, but he's going to have some issues, isn't he? Do you think that the IRGC are going to let this one fly this time? What's different? What's the same? Ghalibaf, hardliner, IRGC commanders. What's the dynamic here?
So right now the dynamic is that the regime, so President Trump is still talking to segments of the Islamic Republic, not the Islamic Republic, not the
True.
Islamic Republic. And so there is no deal. There is not even an agreement. You have an agreement with segments of the Islamic Republic. The other parts are not going to agree to it. Not only that, the segment of the Islamic Republic that is against negotiating with the American is going to go aggressively against the people who are for negotiating with the Americans, because they're like, what other evidence do you need to see that we're winning this? Like, you must be American, Arakshi. You must be a Zionist. You must be a Zionist, because President Trump is coming out saying that he's going to do a major attack, then not attacking, showing to us that we're winning this, that he can't do anything, and then that they're desperate, that they're so low on missile interceptors, that we're so successfully expanding this war to more regions. We're going all the way to Egypt and the Suez Canal now, and nobody can do anything against us. And then you come and offer them a way out with a deal. So you must be an agent of the Americans to be helping the Americans get out of this trap that we have got them into. You must be an agent of them. So that's going to be their narrative.
That's exactly what Nabavian said.
Oh, see, I didn't even read that. He copies me. He comes and watches my show on the Persian channel, and then he basically takes notes and then goes and turns that into statements.
Yeah, look, he said we, the terrorists, dealt America a heavy blow. We made energy prices high. We even depleted the strategic oil reserves of America, and we put domestic pressure. Why are we making a deal? Some individuals.
I didn't even read that. Ali, I didn't even read that.
I showed this 20 minutes ago.
I know, but I was paying attention to the chat because I was winning the super chat race against you. So, and I won, by the way.
Win. Yeah, I think.
Yes, we were 9-9. We were 9-9. We were 9-9, and then I won, and then so that's I was focused on that. So I didn't see that, but this is exactly. I mean, okay. To be fair, I said they're gonna say this today on my Persian show, so and I didn't had that over there.
So that's what the hardliners think.
Steven's saying, bro, pay attention to the important things. I am. The super chat race is important. I mean, I'm going to be
true. So this is the hardliner. Guys, this is a very famous hardliner politician in Islamic Republic. He just said, why are we saving America? Why are we talking to them and saving them? He's so delusional.
Also, don't tell me to pay attention to important things. I studied Nabavian. I know of this guy more than anyone else here, okay? So I've spent a lot of time studying Nabavian and Rasai and Raifipur and Sabati. I've done my work paying attention to these people for 20 years, okay?
Guys, I'm just saying, if you watch on my channel, you'll get the scoops, and then, otherwise, you guys can pay attention to the super chat.
That is not fair. I've been doing this since like 10 hours ago. This is my last show of the day. I'm exhausted. I've been at this since I've been paying attention to every single detail from before you guys woke up, okay? I didn't get any sleep. I've been following this all day.
True. No, I'm just messing with you.
You guys, You guys know about these things because I told you about it. Pay attention. You guys know about this stuff because I paid attention to this stuff.
Let's take a look at how the Israelis felt last night. The Israelis were put on high alert for the second weekend in a row. And according to their own state media, their Channel 12, 14, and Khan News, thousands of Israeli military and defense personnel were at peak readiness. They were waiting and waiting for hours. And then they take a look at Trump's Truth Social to see that the operation was canceled. And a lot of their state media and a lot of Israelis are really angry because, well, what the heck? We were ready, now we're not. We were ready, now we're not. This is wearing down our operational readiness. It's degrading our morale. What's going on here? So they're really angry at Donald Trump. Going back to the point what you said, Bibi came to the White House and he left with a smile. He came in anxious, he left with a smile, and then this happened. I think he knew this was going to happen. I'm 99% sure he knew this was going to happen. And if he's still smiling, that means he's happy with what's about to come. And if we look at the military buildup still, they're bringing in Patriot missile interceptors from South Korea into the Middle East. They're preparing for something quite grand and quite large. Missile interceptors are used for defense, ladies and gentlemen. Defense, not offense. And in other news, we also have the Islamic Republic Foreign Ministry spokesperson who came onto television and decided to speak about what just happened.
You want to share it?
Oh, am I not sharing it? Oh, what the heck?
See, guys, somebody's not paying attention. Oh, see. Oh, there we go.
So he's going to talk about how Trump backed out. He's going to say, with the help of foreign countries, this and that.
متاسفانه با همدستی برخی از کشورهای منطقه. خب اون مسیر هم ناامن بود و هم مخل امنیت و منافع ملی ایران بود و ما به هیچ عنوان نمیپذیرفتیم. الان قرار هست.
So the Strait of Hormuz is just really unsafe, and we told them that route they're taking is unsafe. We kind of just had to hit the ships. We had to blow them up. These are oil tankers, and if they happen to catch on fire in the wrong place, you'll have a humanitarian disaster. By ignoring that, they were unsafe, even though we created the unsafetyness, the danger. And so
ما در مورد یک مسیری که هر دو طرف تفاهم بکنن، نه مسیر شمالی نه مسیر جنوبی، مسیری که تأمین کننده حقوق و حاکمیت هر دو طرف باشه، منافع و امنیت ملی ما رو تأمین بکنه.
How is that possible? What is he saying? Does he even realize what he's saying? We're not going to have a northern and southern route. We're going to have a route that the United States and Iran can agree to, plus this one route completely benefits the national security of the Islamic Republic. What are you talking about, brother? In what universe is that ever going to happen? I mean, this guy's coming on TV, and these guys are sitting there being like, what is he saying? Armin, did you hear this part? Let me just play this again for you. Listen to what he... It's insane. I mean, in what universe? There's going to be a route which the US and Iran agree to, which is going to be completely in the benefit of Iran's national security. Huh? How's that possible? Is there something I missed here?
Is he saying that they're going to have one route that they agree on with the Americans? That's the deal? Yes.
That's the deal.
Not going to be that's not going to go anywhere. Like, that's not even going to go anywhere within the Islamic Republic.
Yeah.
So they are in an agreement on what to do with the Strait of Hormuz, with the murderers of Ali Khamenei, and we're going to basically manage the Strait of Hormuz together with the Americans after they killed our supreme leader. Is there any pushback
Yeah.
against him on this show?
Ooh, let's see.
ما رو تأمین بکنه و بعد در یک فاصله زمانی معقول در مورد TSS جدید یعنی مسیر ثابت جدید تفاهم بکنیم. الان ما تا الان مذاکراتی که داشتیم رو به جلو بوده، طرف عمانی هم همکاری خوبی داشته، اما این رو هم عرض بکنم که تفاهم بین ایران و عمان برای مسیر جدید ربطی به بازگشایی یا مسدود ماندن تنگه هرمز نداره.
یعنی چی؟
So they're confused. Okay, I was confused what he's saying, but then this guy was like, "What does that mean?" So I'm glad that they're confused as well.
Look at their faces, guys.
الان ما
Look at this
تا
guy's
الان
face. He's
مذاکراتی
like,
که داشتیم
what?
رو به جلو بوده، طرف
trying to
عمانی هم
understand what he's
همکاری
talking
خوبی
about.
داشته.
The other guy's like,
اما این رو هم
what?
عرض بکنم که تفاهم بین ایران و
He's
عمان
so
برای
confused that he just straight up
مسیر
asked, what does that
جدید
mean?
ربطی به
So he's-
بازگشایی یا مسدود ماندن تنگه هرمز نداره.
یعنی
اون یه بحثی
چی؟
جداست.
Okay, so he's saying that whatever agreement that we have with the Americans right now has no relationship with whether or not the Strait of Hormuz would remain closed or open. What the hell? So what are you?
What does that
agreeing on?
mean?
What are you agreeing on?
What is that?
What are you agreeing on? Isn't that the whole point of like? Isn't what are you even talking about? Then?
Oh my
Isn't
god.
that the whole point of making an agreement to decide that?
Hey,
I have some. Ali, I have some TV segments as well.
please show us. But
Okay.
but do you guys see how ridiculous this is? The foreign ministry spokesperson comes out on TV and says gibberish, and even the anchors are like, "What? What is that? What are we talking about here?" This is, guys, this is never gonna fly. Sorry, go on.
No. Do you want to see this? Do you want to
Yeah.
like let me know in the chat? Okay.
کوه آمریکایی ها یک بار دیگه موش زایید و اعلام کردند که عملیات خودشون رو کنسل کردن. البته تحرکات نظامی و چینش و آرایش گروهک تروریستی سنتکام در روزهای اخیر تغییرات آنچنانی نداشت و
It's like Americans, once again came out and canceled their military operations. And he's saying, however, the terroristic military group CENTCOM in recent days have not moved that much. Like they didn't change that much anyway. So he's basically saying that they didn't expect anything anyways.
مشخص بود که طبل
Lie number
آمریکایی‌ها
one.
طبل آمریکایی‌ها تو خالیه و تهدیدشون متورط این نکته است.
Like it was pretty clear that the Americans are bluffing and they're just like, it's just their threats are empty words.
اما خب برخی شواهد دیگه از جمله فشار صهیونیست‌ها این امکان رو میداد که امریکایی‌ها دست به یک خطای راهبردی بزنند.
He's saying, however, there were some other evidence that shows that the pressure of the Zionists was moving Americans to make towards making a strategic mistake, like basically to start the war.
اما آنچه در نهایت مانع از این اقدام شده ادعای رسیدن به یک تفاهم پلاس یا فرم جدید MOU نیستش، بلکه تهدید معتبر نیروی مسلح ایران بود که این پیام روشن رو داد که اگر آمریکایی‌ها اقدام غیر فنی انجام بدن و تهدیدی برای زیرساخت‌های ایران ایجاد بکنن، دکترین عصر حجری کردن رو اجرایی می‌کنیم و
So he's saying, like, however, what stopped the Americans to do their attack was not reaching an agreement or an MOU or anything like that. It was the Islamic Republic's doctrine that if they do anything, we will the Stone Ages. The Stone Ages doctrine of the Islamic Republic, meaning that we will send them back to like all the countries, all the countries around the region. We will send them back to the Stone Ages if they did anything. So because of that doctrine of the Islamic Republic, that if
Yes.
they hit our infrastructure, we will send them all back to the Stone Ages. That's what stopped the Americans from attacking.
کل منافع تروریستی آمریکا در منطقه رو به تاریکی مطلق فرو خواهیم برد و در
So what we would have done is like all the interests of United States, all the interests of the terroristic United States in the region, we will make it all go dark. Like we will wipe out the power from the region, at least paying attention to something else. So we would wipe out everything. So everything will go dark. Everything will go fully dark.
They copied
in this
that.
region.
تاریکی
Yes.
به تعبیر شهید لاریجانی دشمن رو بهتر شکار میکنیم. این پیام قاطع.
And he said, like, we will go make this entire area, the entire region go dark, and then we will be able to hunt down our enemies a lot easier in darkness once we do that.
و روشن از کانال‌های مختلف با رزولوشن بسیار بالا در روزهای اخیر منتقل شده و باعث شد که رژیم تروریستی آمریکا متوجه بشه که ادعای بی اثر در برابر تهدید معتبر جایی برای مانور دادن.
So he's saying, like, we have been broadcasting this in 4K everywhere, that this is what we're going to do if they attack us. And the United States have realized that their empty threats is nothing compared to our legitimate threats. And that's why they back down.
نداره. نکته بعدی هم که میخوام خدمت شما اعلام بکنم که این رئیس جمهور تروریست آمریکا در همین ساعات اخیر ادعایی رو در مورد بازگشایی تنگه هرمز کرده که این
Like another point that I wanted to say is that the terrorist president of the United States just came out and made a claim about opening the Strait of Hormuz.
این هم یک پاسخ بسیار روشن داره.
And this has we have a very clear answer to what President Trump said.
تا اگر 1000 بار به نقطه صفر برسیم قطعاً مردم از ایران باید در جریان باشن که تنگه بدون رعایت ترتیبات ایرانی باز نخواهد شد.
So even if they bring us down to 0 1,000 times, they must know, the Iranian people must know, that the Strait of Hormuz will not be open against our will, like unless outside of the framework of the Islamic Republic. Like they cannot make us open the Strait of Hormuz, basically. We're not going to do that.
That actually boils my blood. When he said the people of Iran, that actually boils my blood. Not because of the usual obvious reasons, but because right now, did you know that the parliament of the Islamic Republic is trying to pass this Caspian Sea trade resolution? They have it in parliament right now. It just submitted to parliament.
Yes, I saw that.
These people, these garbage people, okay, in the Islamic Republic, we used to have almost 50% trade control of the Caspian Sea. Take a guess at what it's about to be right now if they pass this resolution in the parliament of the Islamic Republic. In the chat, just throw out some numbers. We used to have 50%, okay? Also, check out Iran's, let me show you Iran's coastline on the Caspian Sea real quick before you guys make your guess. This is Iran. This is the Caspian Sea, okay? We have all of this coastline. Keep in mind, a lot of it's not really usable, okay? What percentage do you think the Islamic Republic is about to settle for? Someone's saying 20%, 100%. Someone has the right answer. Okay, it's lower than 20%. It is even lower than 13%. It's going to be between 11 to 13%. 11 to 13%.
You know why?
Tell us.
They're selling out to Russia for support.
They don't have money to pay to Russia. They're going to give them land and rights. This is
the Islamic Republic selling out Iran's resources to Putin in exchange for Putin defending the Islamic Republic.
You don't own the land. The land is the people. It's the nation. The government doesn't own it. It's not yours to give. So infuriating. Another thing that they're doing, Armin,
And we
the
can't
highways.
get this, so impossible to get it back, even if we're free, because it's going to be. This is now internationally recognized because they already gave it away. It will be so difficult to get it back, even if we're free.
They're the most anti-Iranian government ever. One, just piece by piece, just giving Iran away. Another thing that they're doing, the highways that you guys have in Iran, okay, the trans-province highways, they're selling the land around it to private companies owned by the IRGC because they can't pay them. They're giving them land. They're giving the land of the nation to private companies because they can't pay them. Now, that's a much different story, okay? When Iran's free, obviously, they don't own the land. We can just take it back. How are you going to take it back from Russia? It's a much more difficult process.
This is why any Iranian who's worried about regime change process, thinking that we might lose some of our land if we topple the Islamic Republic, you make absolutely no sense. The greatest threat to our border integrity is the Islamic Republic. Our border, we are already losing our land and our sea and our waterways and our lakes. We're already losing them. We're like, oh yes, I hate the Islamic Republic, but what if in the chaos of if the regime falls, what if the separatist groups come take over some of our land? What if the UAE comes and takes over some of our islands in the Persian Gulf? And like, those would be easy to get back. If it's the Kurdish separatist group, we can take that back easy. We will crush them. UAE against 90 million Iranians with an army that we will build with our oil and gas money. You think UAE can hold on to Tombe Kuchik and Tombe Buzurg? We could get that back. How the hell are we going to get back the parts of the Caspian Sea that we just lost? That we're losing that now already. The Islamic Republic is already giving away parts of Iran. You're like, oh, what if? There's no ifs. It's already happening. It's happening under the Islamic Republic.
I might have ruined your guys' mood, so I'm going to bring it back up again real quick. Armin just said oil and gas money, which we can use to rebuild our country, right? There's actually a third source, one that is going to be vital in the upcoming age of humanity's technological revolution. It's going to be minerals, rare earths and minerals. Iran sits under one of the richest lithium reserves in the world. Lithium batteries, cars, robots, machinery uses lithium ion batteries. We got that. On the eastern part of Iran sits one of the largest mineral reserves on the planet, which is largely unexplored. That is something that I want to raise to you guys a little bit later on in the show, but I will mention it now. Everyone knows Elon Musk. Elon Musk, as of today, is now designated by the IRGC-affiliated state media Farce News as a target. He's on their list now, including his companies and whatnot. Elon Musk is now, by a large margin, the richest man in the world. They raised $1.7 trillion in 2 days. He donated the most amount of money to Trump's campaign. Trump repaid him by the SpaceX IPO. And now, once again, Elon Musk is going to donate a large sum to the Republicans ahead of the midterms. So on the midterms front, the Republicans are about to get a huge burst of funding. Now, what does Elon Musk want? He wants, and he says himself, he wants in the next few years, next 3, 5, 10 years, the world to have a robotic workforce and for goods and services to be extremely abundant. To build that, you need rare earths and minerals, of which Iran has one of the largest reserves in the world, untapped. Now, it might be difficult to get it out, but it's there. Elon Musk is in his interest to have the Islamic Republic overthrown. He's going to be funding the Republicans. He's already got some Starlink in here. He is going to be a bigger figure, in my opinion, in the time that's to come. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, because we're talking about the AI and the minerals and all that, but that is going to be something that will make our country very rich in the future, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you somebody who might be having a negative effect. So you see Washington Post posting a lot of articles that basically is in favor. You know, if you read it, you could see that is leaning towards making arguments against military escalation. Have you noticed that?
No.
So Washington Post is doing that. Let me see. So who is Washington Post owned by? Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos has a lot of tech interest in the Arab countries around Persian Gulf, data centers, infrastructure, tech infrastructure.
Okay, that makes perfect sense now.
Yeah. So just wanted to let you guys know they're using these billionaires or different billionaires will use their media influence. So Elon Musk's when you turn into a billionaire, you start buying media to use media to affect policy in favor of what your interests are. So Jeff Bezos got Washington Post, Elon Musk got X. That's why Elon Musk got X, which I think was a much bigger investment, much more influence. Right? So, yeah.
Yeah. These Arab countries, remember, they want you to stick to oil and gas. That's how they make their money. They don't want you to go and do something else. So it makes sense that Bezos is going to be funding that if he has interest there. For all of you guys saying that, listen, the U.S. has all of these natural, rare earths and minerals that it needs. That is not good enough for Elon Musk. He wants the world. You need billions. He said it himself, you need billions of these robots. You're going to have to grab all these materials from somewhere. You got South America as one of the biggest, largest reserves. And then Iran, Afghanistan, those mountains over there is the other big reserves. So I think you also want to show us something about more confusion on Islamic Republic state media before we get into alligrams.
Okay, I just have 2 videos. Okay, bear with me. So this was on Islamic Republic State TV, this Mullah. So let me translate for you guys.
رئیس جمهور آمریکا اومده گفتن اینجا هی تکرار میکنه ما نمیتونیم عوارض بگیریم. نماینده
So the president of the United States keeps saying that we cannot collect tolls at the Strait of Hormuz.
مجلس به من میگه که ما بررسی کردیم ما حق گرفتن عوارض نداریم. اینو کجا گفت؟
So, and he's complaining about a member of parliament in the Islamic Republic. He's saying a member of parliament in the Islamic Republic has come and said, we investigated this and we don't have actually the right, based on international law, we actually don't have the right to collect tolls at the Strait of Hormuz. So he's saying this is something that a member of parliament of the Islamic Republic.
نداریم. اینو کجا گفته؟
Who said that? Who said that we cannot collect tolls? Where is that said?
شما در کشوری زندگی میکنید که اصل 112 داره.
So you say you live in a country that there's this principle called Principle 110.
اصل 112
No, 112, sorry.
میگه که اگر قرآن یه چیزی گفته بود شما میتونی تصویب کنی بفرستی مجمع تشخیص اون آیه قرآن رو بذاری کنار.
So according to this principle, even if the Quran says something, you could basically, the Islamic Republic has this mechanism that you could ignore Quranic verse. You could basically violate the Quranic verse if it's not in our favor, basically. Majlis Tashkhis Maslahat Nizam, which is an organization, which is an institution within the regime that always checks whether something is in the best interest of the Islamic Republic. If something is in the Quran that you're supposed to be doing, that institution, if it recognizes that it goes against the interest of the Islamic Republic, you could put aside that Quranic verse. You could violate a Quranic verse if it's not in the interest of the Islamic Republic, according to that principle, right? So let's continue. Ali's confused.
That's so it's literally just being the bully and saying, hey, like, I'm going to change the rules whenever I want to be in my favor. And whenever they're not in my favor, I'm just going to ignore it.
So this is actually a principle that Khomeini said, but I'll tell you what that is. So he's making that argument that not even a Quranic, not even a commandment from God himself ties our hand. Like if something goes against the interests of the Islamic Republic, that has been said that this is the commandment of God in the Quran, we can violate that in favor of the interests of the Islamic Republic. That's what he's saying. So let's continue.
خدا رو به خاطر مصلحت بذاری کنار. اما یه عده اینجا نشستن میگن که حقوق بین الملل اجازه نمیده.
And then we have our member of parliament saying that we cannot collect tolls because of international law. And like, he's basically saying, what are you talking about international law? Even a commandment from God himself, we are allowed to violate that for the sake of the regime. And you're talking about international law?
ما این کارو انجام بدیم. اصلا به مجموعه تشخیص هم نمیخواد بره. همون شورای نگهبان تایید میکنه. ولی اینها برای ما شدن طرفدار حقوق بین الملل و وکیل آمریکایی‌ها.
Like these, we have members of parliament that now are representative of international law, and they're defending America's position because of international law.
اسرائیلیا در این زمینه. یعنی شما
and the Israeli.
اینجا با قدرت به چیزی تحمیل شده، جنگی تحمیل شده. شما با قدرت داری جلوش میستی. این کسانی که در واقع
Anyways, I don't want to do the rest because I have a more important video here that I want to talk to you about. But yes, but you know this, you know?
Yeah.
So guys, this is what you might say, like this, what he said, the previous mullah guy, you might think that what he said is anti-Islam, right? But let me tell you why from their perspective it is not anti-Islam, right? So guys, in Islam, you cannot eat pork, right? It's a violation of Islamic law from the Quran. You should not be eating pork. However, if you're starving to death and there is no food and you need to eat and there is pork, then you're allowed to eat pork for the sake of keeping yourself alive, right? So there are situations where you're allowed to violate certain rules in Islam to preserve your life. In the same way, more important than your life is Islam and Islamic rule. There are many commandments by Allah, but the most important commandment is that we need to have Islamic rule. So if Islamic rule is being threatened, and there are some other rules by God that you need to put aside for now, to preserve Islamic rule, then you're allowed to put aside those God's commandments. Because the most important commandment of God is that all rules need to be from Allah, so you need to preserve the vehicle to enforce those rules. So if temporarily you have to pause some of God's commandments to preserve their vehicle where you could enforce God's commandments, then you could put a pause on enforcing those rules or abiding by those rules. In the same way that for preserving your own life, you're allowed to eat pork when you're starving to death and there's nothing else, you're also, for the sake of preserving Islamic rule, you're allowed to put aside following Islamic rules or even enforcing Islamic rules to maintain the structure, the governance of Islam, to later be able to enforce Islamic rules, right? Because if you lose the entire structure, right now you're just violating some of them, but if you lose the Islamic governance, then you will lose all of them. So you need to keep the house first before prioritizing keeping the things in the house. That's why for them it's okay to go against some commandments of Allah, so that you could keep the structure that even lets you enforce. This is why Khomeini, the first supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, he called it the Ojab Wajibat, which means the highest of all priorities. He said that between the life of the Mahdi and preserving the Islamic Republic has higher priority. Meaning that if you have to kill the Mahdi even to maintain Islamic governance, go ahead and kill the Mahdi, because nothing has a higher priority. So this is why you should never trust these people, because whatever they do in the meantime is temporary. The ultimate goal is to not just maintain Islamic rule, but dominate the whole world with it. Does that make sense?
Completely compatible with international law, by the way. Completely. Yes. And then after this, we're going to give you some quick updates, guys, and then we're going to go into alligrams.
So I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm going to play the beginning part. This is from yesterday, okay? And I'm going to summarize the full version of it, the rest of it, because I don't want to bore you guys with 5 minutes of translation.
And can you remind everyone who this is?
Oh, this is Ghalibaf, the most, I guess. How much have we? But yeah, this is Ghalibaf. Okay, he's basically the face of the Islamic Republic right now. Right. That's all. That's
all I'm going to say. Currently the most powerful man. Yeah.
Currently the most. Yes. Okay. For now. You know what? I'm not going to play it. I don't want to bore you guys listening to this guy. He comes out and says that the Islamic Republic has 4 parts, 4 segments right now. And Ali, 3 of those segments are exactly matches my. So guys, I came out with a categorization of the Islamic Republic, 4 segments. And I've been talking about that for months now. And now Ghalibaf just yesterday came out and said the Islamic Republic has 4 segments. And 3 of his segments matches mine. And I'm like, what the heck? It's like, hey, Ghalibaf, are you watching my Persian shows?
What if he does watch your show?
No. let me play a little bit of it.
برادر عزیز، حالا من بحث فردی ندارم.
So, reminder to people, I've said the Islamic Republic has 4 segments: the turbans, the boots, the streets, and the suits. The turban is the office of the supreme leadership. The boots is the IRGC. The suits is the negotiation facing track, which is Ghalibaf, Araghchi, and Pezeshkian. And the streets is the Paidari camp, the ideological pressure camp, the people who are in the streets constantly chanting against the MOU and the negotiations, right?
Wait, so which one did you miss?
Which one? I mean, he's wrong. I'm right about the 4 segment, but let's see. Yeah, which one do you think he switched? So he did 4 segments as well, but
was it the suits?
No, but he's the suits. Why he would take that? So let's listen to him.
ما 4 تا جبهه داریم. این 4 جبهه باید توامان با هم کار کنن. 4 تا میدان داریم. با من توی مصاحبه گفتم دوستان.
So you're saying there's 4 fronts that we have. All of these 4 fronts need to be working with each other.
اینا رو از هم جدا نکنیم.
Like, don't separate these from each other. Make them work with each other.
جدا کردن اینا از هم یعنی ایران رو ضعیف کنیم. ایران قوی نمیشه.
If we separate these from each other, we will weaken Iran. Iran would not be strong if we separate them from each other.
میدان نظامی ما یک میدانه.
میدان نظامی. So that's the boots.
IRGC.
The armed forces.
میدان دیپلماسی ما یک میدانه.
The diplomacy. So that's the suits himself, yes.
میدان خدمت هم میدانه.
میدان خدمت, that's the government. That's Pezeshkian. That's the people, that's the executive branch. The people.
Oh, he's saying
who-
that's the third one?
That's the third one. Yes. So he basically separated Pezeshkian from himself. It has no
Oh.
segment. Okay. So he's saying the service sector, basically.
خیابانم میدانه.
Khiyaban, the streets. He even called it the same name and I gave it, the streets. So he didn't give any segments to the supreme leadership, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that, yeah.
That's good. That's a good find. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I didn't listen to that part. That's great. Guys, again,
Look at this.
we're telling you, Ghalibaf's plan is to rise above in chaos. Chaos is a ladder for him. He's the only one who's been planning for decades, hated Khamenei, and wanted to be the number one. Right now, he's pulling everyone down so that he has a chance to get up. And he's turning on his friends. He's turning on his. He's just game of Durka. Game of Durka.
But aren't you impressed? Because this is like what
Yeah.
I've been saying for months, and he's copying
I
me.
can't believe he
It's
said
so-
it. He just straight up said it.
Yeah, it's like he's even using my term. Look at this. When he's saying this is exactly what Armin said, started saying, "Holy shit, Armin!" And Fine started saying, "Armin, we keep telling you stop giving intel to them.
He watches you. You're helping them.
Stop helping them, Armin." You know, it's actually crazy because on the Persian show we cover so many things that I say. So like this is actually more crazy than you guys think. On the Persian show, I keep saying we go into a lot more details there. Right? I keep saying if I was the Islamic Republic, this is what I would do right now. And then 1 week after, it's exactly what they do, like every goddamn time. And there's so many people in the chat like, Armin, they're watching you. Stop helping them. I hope they're joking, but yeah.
I mean, we tell you that Armin tells you guys that if he was in charge of the Islamic Republic, they would never have fallen into this bad position. You should believe him. You should believe him.
I overthrow Armin. No, I keep pointing to the camera on the Persian show. And I say like to the Durka Jadi people, and I say بچه ارزشی میدونی هیچ جا این تحلیل ها رو هیچ جا اینجوری برای تحلیل نمیکنن. هیچ جا اینجوری برای تحلیل نمیکنن. نه رائفی پور، نه ثابتی، نه نبویان، به هیچ کی نمیتونی اعتماد بکنی. برنامه منه که بهترین تحلیل رو برات داره. بیا اینجا بشین برنامه من. میدونم هرس میخوری که من ضدتم، ولی بیا برنامه من نگاه بکن. I keep telling them that even if you're a jihadi Dorka, you know, pro-regime person, I keep telling them that I challenge them. Who analyzes your own regime better than my show on the Persian channel? Like, you know, I know you hate me, but if you want to learn anything about your regime, your own government, you have to come and listen to my show. Nobody else on your side will tell you this. By the way, I'm not going to play the rest of it, Ali, but the rest of it is actually a lot more important because he then goes on and says, and here's the thing, he says something that every analyst on the Persian side got wrong. Everybody got it wrong, like including Murad Vaisi, you know, all the channels got it wrong. And I told everybody what's actually happening. And then as soon as I said it, they got it what happened, right? So the rest of the
breaking news.
Okay, let's go breaking news. I'll talk about
No, you should tell us first. You should tell us first.
So he goes on and tells everybody that when Khamenei was killed, they had a plan to come out and give the news. I'll summarize it.
Right.
That Khamenei is dead. Yeah, but that's not the important. So and then the foreign media already announced it, so they were forced to come announce it in a way that they didn't want to. And then he said, because of that, we had to plan how to respond to what could happen after. And he says that he found a way to get people into the streets to come and occupy the streets to basically push back about what could have happened, right? And he said he did that, right? And what people thought was happening was that he was basically trying to show how he managed to win in a very difficult situation, how he managed to overcome a very difficult situation to brag about how effective he is. And many Iranian people, anti-regime Iranians, were making fun of him of how chaotic everything was. You're like, oh, you came out and bragged about how you managed to do things in that chaotic situation, but the details that he provided regarding what was happening showed that everything is all over the place, and the Islamic Republic is not coordinated, everything is so unorganized, and they were making fun of Ghalibaf for actually being weak and exposing how unorganized the Islamic Republic is. That was the analysis. But I think people misunderstood what Ghalibaf was trying to do, and I explained it. And as soon as I said it, everybody was like, in the chat was like, "Oh my God, you're so right, Armin. What do you think what he was trying to do?" Because people misread what Ghalibaf was trying to do. Do you know what he was trying to do?
I have a guess, but tell us.
He was trying to say, mother tuckers, I did the streets. I started the streets. So because the streets, people think that his audience are people like us, to basically him showing that, look at me, I could do this. But his audience was the Paidari camp, the people who are using the streets as leverage against the negotiation facing track. The ideological pressure camp has now turned the streets in Iran into a pressure point against the negotiation facing track. It's basically the streets against the suits. So he's trying to claim credit for starting the streets. He's like, that was my thing. I did that. I saved Iran by coming up with this process of filling the streets to push back against the potential uprising right after Khamenei died. When Khamenei died, so many Iranian people thought that this is over, that they might have come into the streets and do an uprising against the regime, and I filled the streets. So you are using the streets against me to point, the Paidari camp is using that as leverage, but that was my idea to begin with. To make it easier to understand for maybe Americans who are watching this, it's somewhat similar to some people saying MAGA has turned against Trump, and Trump coming out and saying MAGA is Trump. I did MAGA. MAGA can't be anti-Trump because I define what MAGA is. So it's similar to that. Ghalibaf is saying that I did the streets. The streets is my thing. How could the streets be against me? There would not be anybody in the streets if I didn't came up with that idea. That's what was happening. So that was it. You understand?
I understand. That sounds like he's frustrated.
Look, he is watching us. So now that
Ghalibaf, we didn't, anyway.
Yes.
Wait, so that sounds like to me like the most powerful man in the Islamic Republic is frustrated right now. It looks like there's a roadblock in his way, and he's saying that because he's frustrated.
Yes, he's like, just because he has the upper hand doesn't mean he has complete control. He absolutely does not have complete control. He might have the upper hand temporarily, and he knows it's temporary.
True. So, as you guys can see, the Islamic Republic is full of cracks. There is absolutely no way that they can give the United States a unified response. Armin, guess what just happened to prove my point? We got some breaking news for you, ladies and gentlemen. As of 30 minutes ago, another ship was struck. Another ship had a missile fired at it, and the captain reported that the explosion happened in close proximity of the vessel. As of right now, it is unknown what is exactly happening, but it looks like that ship was using the southern route. So the American route looks like they might have just barely missed the ship, but they fired the missile with intent to hit the ship. Is Donald Trump going to do something about this? Was it
leaving or was it entering?
Let me see.
Was it going west-east or east-west?
It didn't say port side or not, so I can't tell.
That's important because if it was leaving, then that should be in line with what IRGC agreed to with President Trump. So if they shot at a ship that was abiding by this new agreement that apparently IRGC and President Trump had, this means that there was no agreement. There was absolutely no agreement to begin with. Like the military operation should not have been canceled, because guys, I know it's southern, but was it going west-east or east-west? Because if it was leaving, then the Islamic Republic had no business hitting this ship. If it's true, if President Trump's True Social says that we had an agreement, and the agreement seems to be ships can leave through the southern route, and that's what that ship was doing, and the Islamic Republic still shot at it. So is the military operations, the 14-day attacks, back on the table or not?
Yeah, it's a good question. If it was hit, usually when these ships are hit, it says port side or starboard, and we're able to tell if it was
this
leaving
is the
or
Islamic
entering.
Republic trying to humiliate President Trump. You know that, right?
Yes.
You're like, oh, you're
Exactly.
telling the world that you did it. So this is the Islamic Republic saying, like, oh, you told the world that you stopped the attack because we agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz. Well, here's our message to the world. Let's shoot another ship. So what's your excuse for not attacking? They're almost like daring President Trump.
Yeah.
They're daring President Trump and like, come, attack. You said you didn't attack because we opened the Strait of Hormuz? Well, we didn't. Look at this.
They're not even going to let him have the PR victory, much less have a successful deal. I mean, it's a complete delusion.
It's not even 24 hours. President Trump said, like, it's open now. That's why I didn't attack. Like a few hours after, they shot at the ship.
Correct. So we actually have a few things to cover for you guys. Let me tell you, we got this image for you guys as well. Let me adjust it. Okay. Here is the list of the 8 times strikes were scheduled and canceled, if anyone's wondering. So number 1, we had March 21st, obliterate the power plants. Strikes were postponed for 5 days, then nothing happened. March 22nd to 25th, a few days after that. Going to hit the water desalinization, 10 days extension, didn't happen. We're going to take Karg Island, March 30th. Didn't happen. Tuesday is going to be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day. We all remember that one, April 5th. 2-week ceasefire happened. May 17th, devastating strikes. Canceled. Islamabad talks, JD Vance. June 6th, open the strait, you crazy bastards, etc., etc. Hold off on direct strikes was the result of that. Another cancellation. July 25th, so this is last week. Okay, I'm going to have a massive strike. Diplomacy takes priority. Again, the Arab countries asked me this and that. August 1st, yesterday, we're locked and loaded with firepower never seen until World War II levels. Mohammed bin Salman called, guys, sorry, we're going to have to call that one off for now. So this is actually something that I told you guys was going to happen, whether they struck or not. I think we're going to go back to the negotiating table and to buy time. What reassures me is that we're still seeing elevated airlift coming in for equipment, etc. And we actually have another piece of breaking news coming out as well. So what we're seeing today, in addition, I've been checking the news and the different geo analysts, the open source intelligence, they're saying that a lot of troops are actually being moved out of Bahrain and Kuwait. And those U.S. troops and equipment from Bahrain and Kuwait are going to Jordan and Israel. So they're going further in. Why would you want your troops to be further away from the Islamic Republic army? Is this a sign that we are going to go back to strikes and you want to ensure the safety in case there's an intense operation going on?
Honestly, we can't tell until it happens. Like, it could go either way. Like, are you willing to decide either way until we see it happening? Like this, like after all the ups and downs that we have gone through, don't you think, Ali, the only conclusion you could, guys, anybody predicting the future, you know, especially on a short-term basis, don't know what they're talking about. Like, especially if they talk with certainty and, you know, no skepticism. Everybody like, I know this is gonna happen. I know that's gonna happen. You know, even if they end up being right, that confidence shows that they don't know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
After all the up and
That's
down,
true.
and down that we have gone through, the only thing that you could, the safest thing you could do is like, I'll believe it when I see it, and I'm not gonna decide what's going to happen until it actually happens.
Gotcha. And
What do you
Donald Trump
think?
has
Do you
come
think
out.
that's fair?
That is very fair. That is very fair. We have been thrown around a roundabout, it seems. I'm kind of dizzy at this point. You know, we just told you guys 8 times in a row. So, I do want to get into alligrams, but right before that, we have some update on the Iranian people. Tina Qazimorad, who is the head of communications for Prince Reza Pahlavi's team, has released a post today. And they told us that 2 Iranians from inside of Iran spoke with the New York Post, and this was facilitated through Prince Reza Pahlavi's team. Okay, so through a translator, on the phone, and using a VPN is all safe. So Prince Reza Pahlavi's team got 2 Iranians in Iran, and they had an interview with the New York Post. The quote was, "We're studying the protests from January. We're studying the protests from January. Determining what tactics worked and which didn't. We're analyzing maps to determine the safest and most dangerous areas to congregate," said one of the people in Iran who they were interviewing. That is very encouraging to me. Just this one sentence. So remember, this is facilitated by Prince Reza Pahlavi's team. They allowed the person in Iran to make this interview and say these things. Prince Reza Pahlavi definitely spoke to these people beforehand to see what they would say and wouldn't say. This is what we are allowed to see. We're studying the protests from January, see what worked, what didn't. We're going to have new tactics. We're also going to see in the areas that we come out, are we able to be safer in them, or is the Islamic Republic going to create kill boxes like last time? So that's a very good indicator. Of course, the New York Post sensationalized this. They are like, "Oh my God, the uprising is going to happen any second now." That's not the case. It's not any second now. But this is great that we were allowed to see this come out from Prince Reza Pahlavi's team indirectly. I think that's a great sign. Let's see if we can get to those more pieces. We might just have to tell you guys some of the stuff tomorrow, but alligrams time. So, for those of you who don't know, I like to go into the IRGC supporters group chats where they think they're all safe. I grab messages from them that indicate the political mood in the Islamic Republic among their own supporters, and I show you guys so we can see what they're thinking. And we are starting off today with a juicy one. We have something that the Islamic Republic supporters are saying about Ghalibaf. If you guys see that picture there, that's what Armin was showing us, that interview. That interview is pretty controversial among regime supporters. And let's take a look at what they have to say. This person says, "Mr. Ghalibaf, how long are you going to be a merchant of compromise and negotiation? How long are you going to give up the victory of the warriors of Islam for the benefit of negotiations? You're going to give up our advantages for negotiations? Why weren't you assassinated? Where are your sons, by the way? By the way, guys, his sons are all abroad and safe. Why aren't you assassinated?" That's a great question. I know this guy's asking a right question here. Then he even goes further to say the Turkish separatism hasn't been forgotten. So apparently Ghalibaf had a view on Turkey. And then they're saying now you're looking for American separatism. They're, basically accusing him of colluding with the Americans. The war is not over. Revenge has not been taken. We should have known you when you named your sons Ishak and Elias. They're calling him a Jew. We warn you.
The Jews! Ghalibaf is the Zionist spy!
They're asking him, why weren't you assassinated? How come the U.S. spared you? Why are you giving concessions to the U.S. every time we get victories? you're going back to the negotiating table, holding us back, us, Islamic Republic, from winning. You're holding us back. So you must be working with the Americans. And you probably also are a Jew. You probably also work with the Israelis because your sons' name are Ishak and Elias, which is true. Oof. Getting some heat on him right there. It's pretty good. Right after his famous or infamous interview that just came out as well. So that is our first one. Our second one is by someone in this group chat named Amir, no relation to Amir the Cricket, saying a lot of people are debating, hey, like, you know, so what if the US strikes our infrastructure? Like, we're the Islamists, we will win. But this guy's saying, shut up, everyone. They don't understand what it means to have no electricity. I have a shop that runs entirely on electricity. If I don't have electricity, I don't bring any income. My wife and children will go hungry. If that happens, if it's like this, I'm willing to kill my neighbor so that my wife and children can be fed. These jerks, most of whom earn their living under the table without working, are saying it doesn't matter. So a lot of people in the Islamic Republic, Armin, they don't really have to work, do they? They just kind of mooch off the government. This guy is one of the Islamic Republic supporters who does have to work for a living. And he's basically saying something quite insidious here, a suggestion.
Yeah, it shows that the regime supporters also don't like the economic frustration. It's not just the anti-regime people.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when the time comes, I'm not sure if a lot of these regime supporters will be taking the side of the government when the people commit an uprising, perform an uprising next time. Our next one is going to be this, translated into English. Okay, that's a pretty bad translation. Armin, could you read this for us, please, while I pull up the next one?
Harumia. I zoom out a little bit. I can't see what this is.
Okay.
حرومیا به قرآن که دیگه این سیستم صلاحیت موندن نداره. So guys, this is a regime supporter because he's saying دیگه means like it used to. He's saying, you bastards, I swear upon the Quran that this regime has no right to survive anymore. So we know he's a regime supporter because he's saying anymore, as if like until now it did. But upon this, so this is a regime supporter that is giving up on the regime, and like not because of killing the Iranian people, not because of the executions, not because of all of that, but because they're giving in to the Americans. They are negotiating with the Americans.
Excellent.
This is again, you know, I saw this coming. I saw this coming. Oh my God. 5 years ago, started saying that this will happen, that the regime supporters will turn against the regime one day because of their high expectations against Americans and Israelis. Holy crap. I can't believe how that is actually happening.
Yeah, so these are some pretty good ones that I was able to find today.
That's
People
a good
are pretty
one. I love
pissed
that.
off. Yeah. Do you want me to send you that?
Yeah. But
All right.
قرآن دیگه این سیستم صلاحیت موندن نداره. حرومیا.
And we have our next one. And this one is once again going to be addressed to Mr. Ghalibaf, the head of the Islamic Republic at the moment. And he's going to be making fun of him. So he said, this is what Ghalibaf is going to tell us next time. Okay, Ghalibaf is going to come out and he's going to say, on March 10th, the MOU, I had the staff of Moses in my hand. I threw it on the ground and suddenly a sea of revolutionary people poured onto the streets. If the extremist hardliners in the Islamic Republic bother me, I'm going to release the staff of Moses until it becomes a dragon and everyone runs away. Thank you for your attention. We'll see what happens. In his speech, Armin, Ghalibaf was saying that he was the one that made the Islamic Republic supporters come out in the streets. This guy is making direct fun of him by comparing him to Moses with the staff of Moses. More jabs at Ghalibaf.
Can I see
read
the
the Farsi?
Persian version?
Yeah.
Yes. Persian version.
Persian version.
دهم اسفند عصای حضرت موسی دست من بود آقالیباف به زمین زدم و ناگهان دریایی از ملت انقلابی به خیابان ریختم. اگه تندروها اذیت کنن عصای موسی رو رها میکنم تا اژدهاشو مردم رو بخوانم. Okay, so he's basically توجه شما میتونیم خواهیم تو. So he's basically saying that Ghalibaf is acting like he's the prophet, like he's Moses, right?
Yeah. But a Jewish prophet.
Yes.
Interesting little jabs at Ghalibaf. Even though he's been trying so hard to get people to attack other people, every time he comes out and speaks, the people are reminded of just how much they hate him. So, our next one here is in response to a piece of news that the state media gave about opening up the Strait of Hormuz and the negotiations. This guy is saying he's really mad that the Islamic Republic isn't giving him correct information. A lot of these people, the regime supporters, actually have to get their news from foreign media if they wanted to get precise, correct information. The Islamic Republic censors and filters it. So this guy's saying, why can't just interview the Minister of Foreign Affairs, interview Arakchi, publish it on this channel? Is that too hard? You can interview any of them. Any of them. Just interview someone in the Islamic Republic with some power, publish the interview. There's no need to say an informed source told us. Why doesn't the person in charge say so directly? In my opinion, he's kind of jealous of us. We get our news directly from CENTCOM, Brad Cooper, Donald Trump, Bibi Net. This guy's like, why do we never get the officials to come and tell us the news themselves? If you guys notice, it's not Ghalibaf that comes out and announces news. Arakchi doesn't do it either. It's always the state media, so people can't attack Arakchi and Ghalibaf directly. They direct their anger towards the state media. And this guy knows that. And we have two more for you guys. This one from Hossein Shams. This guy's saying Arakchi is the minister of the humiliation of negotiations. He's a humiliating minister. And he has now announced that he has reached an understanding with Oman on the Strait of Hormuz, and that will be announced soon. So Trump is telling the truth. Trump is telling the truth. Oman is a U.S. mediator and negotiated with Arakchi on behalf of the U.S. regarding the strait. So when the foreign ministry comes out and says, we're not talking to the U.S., we're talking to Oman, it's the same thing. We're talking to the U.S. And Arakchi is making deals with the U.S. I'm seeing a few guys, keep in mind, 90% of the messages in these group chats are just stupid Durkas. The other 10% are like, guys, we're losing. Wake up, everybody. No one listens to them. It's great. And our last one of the alligrams will be from someone who chose to put their name as Colombia for some reason, and says, the real war is the one people are fighting for their livelihoods, so their economic livelihood. This powder keg of discontent is going to explode somewhere if the economic situation doesn't change soon, and it can't be contained. Armin, what is he implying with this statement?
Can I see the Persian version?
Absolutely. Guys, what is he implying with this?
جنگ اصلی جنگ معاش هست که مردم دارن انجامش میدن. این انبار باروت نارضایتی یه جای منفجر میشه. اگه اوضاع اقتصادی خیلی زود تغییر نکنه و دیگه نمیشه جمعش کرد. So I think the real war is not the war with the Americans and Israelis. That's not the real war. Yeah. The real war is the war for daily living.
Yeah.
Just to be able to live on a daily basis and the Iranian people are doing that. They're doing that war. So you guys, everybody's paying attention between the war between the Islamic Republic and America and Israel. That is not the real war. The Iranian people are struggling to be able to live on a daily basis. That's the real war. And then he continues and says, so this storage of gunpowder of
Powder keg,
the parakeet of the Iranian people being angry will one day explode.
Yeah.
One day explode. With the economic conditions, we're going to have an explosion of the wrath of the Iranian people. And then when that happens, there's no holding it back. So he's warning that because of the current economic situation, there will be an uprising. Yeah, okay. Yes,
an uprising.
Yes,
yeah.
An uprising.
So that's what we've been saying. The economic situation is going to force an uprising, whether the people like it or not. People have to fight for their survival. They have to put food on the table. They don't have a choice. And that is our Alligram section. Let's give you guys some quick updates and read the super chats here. The Iraqi security forces are once again in the streets of Baghdad and once again arresting people. This time, they're actually going after Fatimun and Zainabun, who have networks in Iraq apparently through pilgrimages. And it turns out some of the Iraqi state media believe that it was these Fatimun Zainabun terrorists who were actually launching drones at Saudi Arabia. And we have a leaked image here. Let me see if I can find it. Make it bigger for you guys. Okay, here it is. Come on. Copy image address. So we actually have a Iraqi government document here that is apparently showcasing a member of one of the terrorist proxies from Afghanistan and Pakistan who has come under the guise of the Islamic Republic to Iraq and may be responsible for some of these attacks. Looks like these are what the Iraqi forces were going after tonight when they committed some arrests. So that would be, I'd love to get more official confirmation of that, but it seems like this is what the Iraqis themselves are saying at the moment. And yeah, again, there's just a ton of Iraqi forces poured out in the streets of Baghdad, just convoys of trucks and, black clad in security forces. Okay. So with that, I will give you some of the news that we wanted to give you guys today. Tomorrow, it's not completely urgent. And with that, we can read the super chats. Ida, thank you for becoming a YouTube member or renewing your membership. It's probably the renewal there. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Welcome back. Nollybug says, bring on the therapy. We need it.
Yes.
It's the one that we've been saying. This deal is never going to happen. They literally just fired on another ship tonight, almost hit it. There is no one in the Islamic Republic that can give the United States what it wants. Not a single one entity person. You're going to have all of them on board. Never going to happen. Ever. Thank you for the super chat, Nollybug. And Still Sassy, thank you for the Jules. RG Rappaport with the super sticker. Thank you for the support. Fleshy Interloper says different factions are allowed to shoot for free.
Yes. President Trump is talking to one faction.
Yeah.
And even if they have an agreement with President Trump, it doesn't stop the other factions.
Yeah. Another faction in Islamic Republic is still going to fire a missile. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. Thank you, Fleshy, for that. And our next one is from Newsbren saying, yesterday I wrote, the attack will only happen when the CIA and Mossad say go. It has to be the last campaign. It has to be a final campaign since the United States of America is running out of Patriots that cost $4 million while Iran missiles cost $100,000. It's a little bit simplistic, I think, to view it like that. I do believe that a final hard campaign is coming, but I don't think it's going to be because the U.S. is going to be running out of patriots. Looks like they're bringing them in from South Korea to make up for any sort of lacking that they have. But the costs, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the costs there.
No, but
yeah,
but I do agree. I do agree that, you know, just an attack that doesn't go all out is going to be more. It's going to have more cost than benefit. You need to go all out, finish the job. I do agree with that.
Absolutely, that does have to happen. Thank you, Newsbrand, for the super chat. And Fleshy Interloper says money has to fall off the table into the right pockets. Ooh. Is there a way? No, actually they don't, because the Islamic Republic doesn't have money right now. Yeah. Spending all of its money as soon as it gets it.
See.
Yeah, I don't know if money can save them at this point.
See.
Oh, it's just it's right here. Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't understand it.
Bribes.
Oh, okay. Money has to fall off the table into the right pockets. Yeah, that's how the Islamic Republic operates all the time. For sure.
They just don't have any more money left. They're spending it all.
No, that's not true. They have billions of dollars. They have less than before. They're still making billions of dollars. They're making billions of dollars less than before. But the money that needs to go into the right pockets, a lot of it is in the millions. You know, so they will still be able to pay their core people that they need to pay. We're still not in the territory of a full collapse. I mean, the problem is that the main weakness right now is the IRGC salary. Okay, so when it comes to some key forces, terrorist groups that they need to, if it comes to an uprising, they might have enough to pay, you know, tens of thousands of people to be able to continue suppressing the Iranian people. But what's making them collapse is what's very expensive is the entire structure and framework of the Islamic Republic. They're having a hard time continuing to pay for that, especially the armed forces, like their payments and everything that keeps the machine going. That's hard to keep paying for. But once all of that breaks apart, that's when you're going to see a total system collapse. But the issue will never be not having millions of dollars to pay some militia to be able to shoot into crowds of Iranian people, because that's pocket change compared to the oil and gas they're making even now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we made that analysis too. It only cost them what, like $1.5 billion, which they have. They'll always have that. Thank you, Fleshy Interloper, for the super chat. And Ghalibaf Profile Pic says, "Will I get my elephant farts this time?" Guys, in Farsi, chosefil means elephant farts, and chosefil also means popcorn. So he's wondering if he's going to get his popcorn. I think it's on its way. Thank you, Ghalibaf. And stop listening to our show. Our next super chat is from Leo, saying, "Should never have stopped booming in March."
That's what a lot of people say. I mean, I could go into the different reasons for why some people agree with that and some people disagree with that, but more and more people agree with you, Leo. Yeah.
I mean, this is the 8th time that this cycle has continued, and so it's wearing down people. Even Saeed Ghassan came out today and said stopping the ceasefire in March was a mistake. He said that explicitly. Thank you, Leo, for your super chat.
Thank you.
And S7 saying, "Iran knows how to play Trump. He threatens, they feign compliance, attacks stop, then they stall. No one believes Trump now. Iran wins." It seems to be the pattern.
Iran wins when the Islamic Republic falls. So Iran is not. If you're saying the Islamic Republic is winning, then Iran is losing. But I think Trump has played the Islamic Republic more than the Islamic Republic has played Trump, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, even if there are certain things that we wish President Trump did differently, the Islamic Republic is not winning. The Islamic Republic, let's be real, like our expectations might be higher than what is happening, but the Islamic Republic has never been weaker than it has been right now. And the United States has never been stronger than it has been right now. So I don't see how the Islamic Republic winning this, given that they're more vulnerable and weak than they have ever been in their history. So I don't consider that a win.
And S7, you know why Armin and I stick to that point about how the Islamic Republic actually is in a worse off position, a much worse off, because we're able to focus and see inside of Iran and what's happening inside the Islamic Republic. A lot of analysts out there on YouTube will just focus on U.S. foreign policy and what it's affecting the U.S. They're actually not looking at what's happening inside Iran. We are. Thank you for that super chat. And our next one is from Fenestras, saying Trump is making the USA look like a fool. 5 times of empty threats is 4 times too many. Very much of an expected super chat here. I don't think the US is looking like a fool.
Okay. I mean, I do think that the Americans. So some people say that it doesn't matter what it looks like. No. I'm not. No, we want to read your super chats, right? I think I'm actually going to agree with you somewhat here, because some people say optics don't matter. Optics matter a lot. Optics are soft power. Soft power is something that the United States and all other countries invest in. If optics didn't matter, why would the United States spend billions of dollars? Optics is partly why the United States won the Cold War. Optics gives you leverage. Optics is very important. So some people think optics is everything. It's not. Like your hard power, your economic power, your military power are extremely important, but your soft power is also as important. So if you make a threat the first time and you don't follow through, you could say psychological war games, 5D chess, art of the deal. Second time, you might say that. Third time, you might say that. Fourth time, you're pushing it. Fifth time, it's going to end up being ridiculous, right? It is ridiculous. You might say, if you want to defend it, you might say that there probably something is happening behind the scenes that justifies all of this. But that doesn't, even if that is true, even, for example, let's say we see such a giant attack coming out right before the midterms, at some point before the midterms, that would justify everything that President Trump has done so far. Even if that happens, you could still agree that has done a lot of damage to U.S. credibility at least when it comes to threats, right? So when you make a threat and you follow through, that means that people will take your threat seriously. If you make threats and you don't follow through, then the influence of your threat is going to be less next time you need it, right? I mean, it's basically crying wolf. It's the same thing. So, I mean, I don't disagree. Hopefully, the optimistic take is that cost is for the sake of something a lot bigger behind the scenes, if it's true.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It won't matter at the end if the result is the overthrowing of the regime. And thank you, Finistras.
Yeah. Finistras?
Yeah, like the Harry Potter spell.
Oh.
Thank you, Ramia, for the jewels. And Steak and Beans saying, oh, you Iranian patriots make it hard for us. Armin and Ali, Glody, and Tusi at the same time. I can barely concentrate on one conversation with ADHD. How am I going to manage 3 at the same time? Yeah, I mean, that's why you just stick here. You know what I mean? We are the best. We are the best coverage. We do go into the most amount of depth.
Thank you, Sticky Beans. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Steak and
the
Beans.
thank you for
Thank you for the
supporting
super
us.
chat. And Teresa Betancourt, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for the support.
Thank you.
Always see them in the chat. And Rooster saying, so you win the battle against...
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you,
So
Rooster.
apparently you did win today?
Yes, we were 9. We were like so close. It was like you were 9 and I was 9, and then we were like so close, and then boom.
Dang it.
Thank you.
2-1. Armin's in the lead.
Yes.
Okay.
2-1. 2-1.
Thank you, Rooster, for the super chat. And Joanne is saying, how are the Iranian people feeling after Trump said there's a deal? They're exhausted. A lot of them are exhausted. A lot of them not shaken. Here's the thing. What Trump says or does at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, is not going to change the fact that the Iranian people want the regime gone. Thank you so much, Joanne.
We're frustrated.
Super chat.
And guys, if you're American and you're frustrated by the Iranian people being frustrated, please understand what they're going through and just forgive them. Okay, it's hard. It's really difficult to be in their position right now. You know, for us, it's a roller coaster on the news. You know, for us, it's a roller coaster because we get offended by certain things and we get encouraged by certain things, and we're like, because we want our narrative to win, we want our side to win. And like somebody is pro-Trump and gets offended because people are speaking against Trump. Somebody is against, it's based on, like, for many people watching this is a show, okay, that they want things to go their way. For the Iranian people, this is not consuming news. For the Iranian people and the Israeli people, this is about life and death, right? So as much as you get frustrated when things are not going your way on the news, and when you get encouraged when things are going your way, just remember that you're watching all of this in a safe position, watching all of this. And I'm not saying that you should. I'm not criticizing any of us. Like, I'm talking about myself. I'm just saying, for us, we're so far away from what's happening, and most of this is just, like, I don't know. It's just basically, it's not the same. Like, we don't have as much to gain and lose. For the Iranian people, this is not about, their side winning or them getting offended by somebody, or just getting happy that somebody is supporting their narrative, or getting happy because somebody is agreeing with them, or getting angry because somebody is saying something wrong. For them, this is about the difference between a prosperous Iran or living in absolute hell. That's what it is. So if you see them coming out and saying something against the president that you like, or against the narrative that you agree with, just be patient and just understand that they're dealing with something that so many people will never even understand.
Yeah, completely different atmosphere. I would say no one in Iran is feeling good. Like, you can't say anyone is having a good mood at all at any point. But thank you, Joanne, for that super chat. And Fenestra says Armin is winning the super chats.
Yes,
for today. For today.
Wait, Fenestra, why were you on Ali's side? The hell?
Heck
why were
yeah.
you on that side for? Yeah, she went to your side for super chats, and then when she was done with super chats, she came back to my side. What are you like? What? Like, what the hell is happening? Like, what have I done?
That's so funny. Okay. Well,
I highlight your comments, I pay attention to you, and then you backstab me like that.
Excellent work. Just as I instructed. Okay, thank you for that super chat. And our next one is from Tractor, saying USA will give Hormuz to the IRGC and back down. See? No, I can't ever see that happening. I'll be honest with you, Tractor. I don't think I can ever see that happening. Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Because I mean, it's multiple times that we've been here. The U.S. would have just given them the Strait of Hormuz by now. I don't think they would have tried to keep on fighting it. So the U.S. wants free flow of oil. I can't speak, but thank you for the super chat. You're gonna be proven wrong. I promise you're gonna be proven wrong very soon. We already saw a ship almost get hit tonight. And our next super chat is from Nuala, saying, I look forward to this each day. You both give such solid breakdown. Thanks for all you do and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that. That's very sweet.
Armin and I get very frustrated, and then we're like, okay, throw aside the emotion. Let's think about what's going on. You know, who's winning, who's losing still, what's happening. And then we're like, okay, now we can speak. I'm just like, oh. Thank you, Nuala, for the super chat.
Thank you.
Our next one is from Fizz Endracist. Trump is making me dizzy. I'm feeling dizzy in the sense that I'm like, oh my God, I don't know, because he can change his mind at any time. I don't know. The Israelis don't know. Half his administration doesn't know. The Islamic Republic doesn't know. I've been saying this forever. Trump is the only one who knows. He's the only, not even JD Vance, anyone. It's just him in his head.
Fine stars were saying it. Finistras was saying yesterday that I don't think Trump even knows.
Okay.
That's what.
Thank you, Fizz.
See, Finistras, I even pay attention to what you're saying because I'm trying to see what you people like you are thinking, and then
people like you, and
yes, your people, salty people.
And we have a super chat from Finistras saying, "Can we fire Trump and bring in Rubio?"
Are you American? Is Finistras American?
No, I believe.
Oh, so no then.
Oh, yeah, don't tell us what to do.
Yes, don't tell Americans what to do. It's not.
We could. Yeah, we might see the next president be Marco Rubio. I don't know, or maybe 2 terms from now. It's probably more likely. But thank you for the super chat. And Nail Bunny says, "This chat ... Another super chat needs confetti."
Yes, Nail Bunny.
Nail Bunny trying to get you to. That's who got you to 10, I think. The double. Yeah, it was because right after Nail Bunny's super chat, after her super chats, we started seeing confetti. From Nollybug.
We win.
Confetti from Finistras.
Yes.
And confetti from Fizz Endracist. But it was so close that some people thought I won.
Yes. See, Fizz Endracist was getting you to win, but he was like just a few seconds late. So he thought that you won. Yes.
It's no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nail Bunny. Thank you, Finistras. And thank you, Fizz Endracist and Nollybug. Thank you all for keeping an eye on the race, as well as Amir the Cricket with the confetti as well. Thank you so much.
Celebrating. Thank you, Amir.
Hope you're doing well. And our next super chat is from Steven saying, "Don't worry. I hit the like button 4 times. I quadruple liked it." Wait, so if you hit it 4 times, you haven't liked the video? Oh, if you click it again, does it cancel out or no?
I don't know. Let me try. Yes, it does. So you unliked it.
Wow, you unliked the video. All right, Steven. I see how it is. Thank you for the super chat. Tried to slide that past us.
Oh my God.
And our next super chat is from Finestras saying, "And I won the bet, by the way." Finestras bet, I think yesterday or the day before, that Trump would not go ahead with the strikes this weekend. So technically, she was right.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
One of these days, you're going to be wrong.
You're going to be wrong.
One of these days.
Yeah, Finestras, you're like the Islamic Republic. We just need to.
One of these days, you know what the problem? You know what the problem is, Ellie? One day she's going to be wrong, and she's going to be happy about it. So we can't even celebrate her being upset about being wrong. Damn it.
Finestras is like the Islamic Republic. that has to win every time, and we only have to
Oh
win
my
one
God.
time. I'm just saying.
See, Finistres, you gave him super chats, and she's saying you're like the Islamic Republic. This is what she gets. This is what she gets. The person that you supported is telling you that.
And our next one is from Ninja Rooster saying, "So I guess I was late for the super chat race today, then, huh?"
Yes.
Actually, I think you contributed to it earlier. This
Yeah.
is like an excuse.
Yeah. Wait. What are you talking? Yeah, he gave it.
You gave two super chats before that. What do you mean?
Yes, and thank you, Rooster. Thank you, and you,
Ah.
and also thank you for the big super chat. That was very generous. Thank you.
And our next one is from News Bren saying, or Trump is Biden plus amphetamines. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Yes.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, News Bren, for the super chat.
Thank you.
And Nail Bunny saying UK's suddenly cooperating. Diego Garcia base prescribing IRGC, which is not in out of the goodness of their hearts. Assurance must have been given. I said that a week ago.
Wow. Good job.
Thank you, Nail Bunny, for the super chat. Real strange.
Thank you.
Marsha, thank you, Nail Bunny. And Marsha, thank you for the jewels. CJ says, look at Vietnam. Bombing didn't matter. Negotiating didn't matter. It's up to the people on the ground to make what they will of this opportunity. Yes. So let's support them. Let's support them a little bit more.
Matter. What Vietnam bombing did matter. If it wasn't, guys, United States won the Vietnam War because of the bombing. Last time I checked, Vietnam is not a communist country anymore. And I know they have communist symbols there, but it's a very capitalistic country thriving because of the bombings, and it's a major U.S. ally in East Asia. So bombing did work in Vietnam, and United States won the Vietnam War because you have to zoom out and look at what the effect of things in the long term.
I have an audio for you guys. I'll show you just a second. Thank you, CJ, for the super chat. Let's take a look at what Donald Trump said again on Air Force One today. I can't pause this.
He said, the Crown Prince. I said, what would you rather do? Would you rather have us do this or not? They said, we would much prefer a deal as opposed to an attack, because you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will they be flooded with people pouring into their country and disaster? A lot of bad things can happen. Yeah.
Well, he said he talked about the Crown Prince.
He said that Mohammed bin Salman directly told him that he prefers to make a deal.
Oh my God.
So Donald Trump asked the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, do you prefer to make a deal or do you prefer to attack? Mohammed bin Salman directly said, I prefer to make a deal. In addition, he said that, I can go to that transcript again. He said, you don't know where these attacks lead. I mean, will the neighbors of Iran be flooded with people pouring into their countries? A disaster. A lot of bad things can happen. Interesting.
Okay, so the Axios was correct in the Axios report, according to President Trump, regarding
could be
Saudis.
And thank you, CJ, for the super chat. Our next one is from Nail Bunny saying, isn't dust storm season in Iran April to July? We don't really get dust storms in a lot of the parts of the country, but Middle East as a whole.
We only get dust storm. We only get dust storm in Sistan, Baluch, like that I know of. Like I lived in Iran for 20 years. I've never seen a dust storm in my entire life. Not a single. And I lived in two major cities. I lived for 7 years of that 20 years. I was in Shiraz, and the rest I was in Tehran. Never seen a dust storm. I've seen dust storms on TV on Sistan, Baluchistan province.
Yeah, but the rest of the Middle East does until throughout August. So this month. And thank you, Nail Bunny. But jets have to fly through them to get to Tehran. Correct, but jets can go above the dust storm. It's more of like the equipment, the troops, the helicopters that decreases your chance of survival. Yeah. But good question. Thank you for the super chat. And Alistair Newman is saying the DNC has $16 million in cash and $18 million in debt. The RNC has $126 million cash, no debt. The Republicans have so much more cash flow at the moment. Oh, the Democrats has 16 mil assets, 18 million liabilities. Republicans, way more no debt.
Hope.
Yeah, and they're about to get more.
Would they be able to use that to change the result of the midterms? Or would
I
that
hope so.
Hope
more
so.
money statistically gets you more votes, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you.
And Elon's about to give.
Oh, by the way, what a surprise. People who believe in capitalism are better at managing money than the socialists.
What?
Wow. Surprise.
Are you serious?
No.
Huh. IRNA just published an AI image of a tanker on fire in the Strait of Hormuz and claimed they hit the ship. Never change Islamic Republic state media.
Amazing.
Thank you, Alistair, for the super chat, and thank you, Reko Kun, for the jewels.
Thank you.
Miss Hypnotic says, so Jew hater is actually Ghalibov.
Yes, you got him. That's him.
Yep. And Miss Hypnotic, I think, he's going to answer for himself here. So Ghalibov actually says, I am watching. He's getting his information from us.
Taking notes.
Thank you, Miss Hypnotic, for the super chat. You could be right. And thank you, Ghalibov. Jagatai with the super chat saying, damn it, Armin. No wonder we haven't beaten them yet. Ah, yes, because of Armin. Armin's giving them the tips on YouTube, and they're watching him.
Sorry, guys.
Really be your own. And thank you, Jagatai, for the jewels as well. Nail Bunny with the 5 Liberty Politics memberships.
Thank you.
And then with another 5 Liberty Politics memberships. Huge. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christian Evan Christensen says, you good? A Norwegian wonders if the revolution is spreading. Saw protests in Afghanistan and a small increase in monarchism in Libya and Iraq. Whatever you see right now, multiply it by 100 after Iran is free.
That's interesting. I didn't know. I knew about the Afghanistan part. I didn't know about the Libya and Iraq monarchism. Is that a thing? Is that happening?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about Libya, because they're pretty fragmented. So for that to come out, I'm assuming is one of the factions there. I might be wrong. Christian, if you're still here, let us know.
Let me look into this. So popular unrest and constitutional monarchism movements are gaining traction across North Africa and the Middle East. In Afghanistan, brave civilian protests on June 9th, 2026 defied Taliban mandates in direct opposition to religious authoritarianism. Libya's Crown Prince Mohammed el-Senussi has seen growing political backing since February 17, 2024, as a unifying constitutional alternative. Iraqi citizens demonstrated strong resistance to proxies of the Iranian regime during political developments up through May 19, 2026. The massive nationwide uprising against the Islamic Republic between December 28, 2025 and March 31st, 2026 continues to inspire regional resistance against extremist regimes around the Persian Gulf. Well, thank you for that information.
Thank you for that, Christian.
Thank you.
I don't think they're here at the moment, but thank you for that piece of information. And our next super chat is from Leo. Says, my puppy is now French. Do you like
French.
my hat?
Yes.
I don't know about the first part, but I like the hat.
No, I like, guys. We love the French people. Just because we don't like the government, we do. Vive la France! We do.
I don't know.
We love the French. We just don't like the government or the policies. And yes, cute French hat. Missing a baguette. Or like, what else are you gonna keep adding? You added your name, the lion and sun flag, a hat. What's missing?
It's pretty
Oh,
good.
I know.
What?
Give it a gun. That's what's missing.
That is the last thing I expected. All right. Thank you, Leo. All right. YouTube, we got nothing. Thank you for the super chat. And Caroline says, 2CTV says attack plan paused because of a leak. I think that was the plan. The leak was the plan. We were saying that the reason why we have this information is probably to put a bunch of pressure on the Islamic Republic to come back to the negotiating table. Turns out it was true. Are the negotiations going to survive? Absolutely not. No. But yeah, no, I don't think someone leaked something important and that's why they had to stop. Yeah, I don't believe that. Thank you, Caroline, though, for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Caroline.
And we have a massive super chat by Jets. Thank you so much for your support. Saying, I guess Armin won. What a shame.
Wow.
What a shame.
What a
shame. It's 2-1 now. You're 2 ahead. You won the past 2 days. But you know what? I won the first day of our race. I'm just saying. So maybe people actually started feeling bad and then they came into your chat and put super chats. Who knows?
Pity super chat. Don't pity me. Well, but Jets,
okay.
Thank you so much for a very generous super chat. That's very sweet. Just always supports us in such a generous way. Thank you.
Thank you so
Everyone
much.
Else
nice profile picture. Lion with a sword in his mouth.
Oh my god! And the sun behind it. That's
pretty good.
Wow! I've never noticed until now. That is the lion and sun flag. The sun, the lion, and the sword. This is the first time I realized. I thought it was just a lion.
Excellent.
That is so cool.
He's one of us. Thank you again for that super chat. And he put a winky face down in the chat there. And our next one is from John, saying weakest Boston Tazaharahat had a dozen people in heavy. Oh my god, I can't read this. It's breaking my brain. I'll just read it as it is. Weakest Boston Tazaharahat had 12 people in heavy inclement spring rainstorm. They always field at least 24 nonstop bipish bipish bipish. Okay, there we go. That was easier.
What does that mean?
So he's saying that the Boston Iranians are the real ones. They're the OGs. Even if it's raining, if it's whatever is happening, they come out with at least 12 people or 24 people. Nonstop. Yeah, so actually my city also has protests for the Iranian people every weekend as well, every Friday and Saturday. They just happen to be exactly when I'm doing my show. So
the peach.
But I used to go to them before.
Nonstop. He says nonstop.
Thank you, John. Nonstop. All right, guys, let me take a look at the news.
Can I show you something? Ali, who's this guy?
Radan.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Do we
there's
like
one more
him?
super chat. Hell no. Hell no.
Why do we not like him?
He sat down and wrote the nitty-gritty plans on how to effectively murder civilians. He was the one that came up with the kill box ideas, how to trap people in squares, what ammunition, what units would need to kill people with, chemical weapons, all of that. That's all this guy.
I'm going to expose him today.
Okay. He was almost taken out. That's the video, right?
No, I'm going to expose him as a Mossad spy. I want you to listen to this video.
Oh, right.
And tell me. Okay, guys, like if you hear what he's saying, you know, then you think like, okay, what the hell? So let me play this. So he's talking about the meeting at the office of the Supreme Leadership where the bombardment happened on February 28th. So he's talking about somebody that was at that meeting and is dead. And he's saying he wasn't supposed to be there. I was supposed to be at that meeting. In the meeting with Khamenei and the IRGC leaders and all the other important people when everybody died and Khamenei died, he said, I was supposed to be in that meeting, but somebody else went instead of him. Like something happened and I called and I said, I can't go.
Something.
Yes, something. He said something happened and I called and I couldn't go. Ali, a meeting with the supreme leader of the Islamic Republic. The supreme leader of the Islamic Republic wants to meet with you. He came out and said, everybody come, I want to talk to you guys. And he called and be like, I can't make it.
He's like, nah.
I can't show up. Nah, I'm busy. But guess worse. Like he's saying, if it's important, send someone else. If it's important, it's the supreme goddamn leader. Like send somebody else if it's important, okay? He's saying they insisted that you have to come. This is important. He said, I'm not saying it, he's saying it. He said they insisted that this is important, that you have to come. And I said, no. He said, like, I told him I can't. Something has happened. I can't come. So instead of me, they sent Rezai. Sardar Rezai went instead of me. Like, they didn't have Sardar Rezai's name when he arrived there. So they weren't letting him in because they didn't know who he is. Guys, Sardar Rezai is like one of the most important intelligence commanders of the Islamic Republic. He's saying at the office of the Supreme Leadership that when he wanted to get in, they didn't know who he is. Like, how do you not know who he is? He's like important intelligence person. And like, who are you? You can't come in. And like, yeah. So he basically, they called him and he like, yeah, let him in. He's with me. And he went in and he died because he was in, right? But this is crazy. They like, this man is saying, I basically didn't want to go. And they told me that you have to come. I'm like, nope, I'm good. And then everybody died. And then he's alive. So what the hell? Like, isn't this like, wouldn't this be so suspicious? Like, what?
Interesting.
Why were you so insistent on not going to a meeting that at the Supreme Leader's office, even though they insisted that you should come, and then you didn't go, and everybody died, and you're alive?
Something happened, and I couldn't go, even though the Supreme Leader directly summoned me and insisted. Yeah. Something happened. I can't say. That would be the first question. I would have asked him. I'd be like, "What happened that you defied direct orders from the Supreme Leader?"
Right.
Something. Okay.
Like, yeah, I was busy. Supreme Leader. What? I don't like. No, you have to come. This is important. Nah.
If I was him, I wouldn't go if I knew that everyone's gonna die. Because there would be no repercussion. There's no consequences if they're all dead. Who's gonna say, like, I feel like, hey,
so weird.
Yeah.
That's out there.
We have a couple more real quick. Christian Evan Christensen got back to us. Said, I am
Ooh.
here. Oh, they changed their profile picture. What will a liberal and conservative party in Iran stand for? You know any other monarchist creator in the other Middle East countries? I don't know any other ones, no.
So
I mean, you can find them.
So in Iran, liberal means right-leaning. In United States, liberal means left-leaning. In Iran, it means right-leaning. And the reason for why it's okay. So in United States, so guys, classical liberal values in United States. Anyways, I'm not going to go into why in Iran liberal means right-leaning. I'm just going to give you the short version of it. Communists are against classical liberal values. Communists are anti-liberal in that, they're against liberals. And because the left-leaning people that we historically have to deal with in Iran were communists, and communists hate liberals, in Iran, the word liberal is associated with right-leaning, unlike in the United States, right? So conservatives are the liberals, technically. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and also we don't like the way that people refer to conservative, liberal, or right-leaning in Iran is just patriots, mostly. Like, and it's not about religion, it's about being a patriot. So, and I think that's why Iranians are mostly right-leaning, because and they don't call it right-leaning. They don't see the right-leaning. They are more right-leaning, but they don't refer to it as right-leaning, because right-leaning to them seems like religious, and religious to them seems like Islam. So maybe they wouldn't use the word right-leaning. They would just use the word patriot. They're anti-left because to them leftism is communism, and Iranian people hate communism. But if they're anti-left, they don't categorize themselves as right-leaning, because they just refer to themselves as patriots. So it's not left and right in Iran. It's left and patriot. Right? So you have left-leaning people, which are traitors and anti-Iran. And on the other side, we don't have right-leaning people. We just have patriots. Does that make sense?
You're either a patriot or you're a leftist. Got it.
Yeah.
It's that simple in Iran, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have like people saying like, yes, I'm right-leaning. They're like, no, I'm just those mother tuckers are left-leaning. That means that they're a bunch of commies and against Iran, and I'm just a patriot.
Heck yeah. Some people are definitely going to abuse that though in the future.
Does that make sense? But I'm not saying this is this is like a categorization that should be or shouldn't be. I'm just saying this is how words are, most how people categorize themselves.
Yep. Thank you for that excellent question, Christian.
Yeah, thank you.
And we
but
got
we didn't even
Jules
answer it. We didn't even answer it. Where did it go? What did it say?
About
okay,
liberal and conservative in Iran.
Parties. Okay, like what would they stand for, right? I think most parties would have to signal heavy patriotism to even have any chance, right? So
for the right,
left-leaning parties, they either have to like lean into being leftist and just try to appeal to minority left-leaning people in Iran, or even if they want to support left-leaning policies, they should rebrand it as not left-leaning and rebrand it as something else if they want to try to have a broader appeal. That's what I think will happen.
Gotcha. Thank you very much for that explanation. Those are always really valuable, so thank you. We have some Jules from Dots D and Janet Marsh. Thank you very much. And our super chat from Firejack saying, I had someone sum up Trump's foreign policy in one comment, which is, I'm not at all interested in regime change, just dominating America's enemies. That's why all the stops. He wants the regime, not a free Iran. I think to a large extent, he does want a free Iran, and he's using the regime right now to push the other countries in the Middle East to achieve what he wants. He's using the Islamic Republic as a boogeyman. But he absolutely needs a free Iran in the future. By the end of my prediction is by the end of his term, 100%. And that's a bold prediction to make. And I usually won't make that. But I do believe he does want that.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, guys. Like, does it really matter what Trump's wants, what he wants? It matters more what he does rather than what he wants. I mean, I do think that whatever he wants, he does care about the Iranian people. I genuinely do believe that. It doesn't mean that he's going to make it his priority just because he does care. But he does care, and actions are more important than words or desire. What ends up happening is more important than what people's desires are. That's what I think. And you're agreeing, but he's doing a thumbs up.
Sweet. Thank you, Firejack, for the super chat.
Thank you.
And Mommy123 is asking, is Armin Shirazi? What about Ali Tafreshi here? Where's that?
I am half Shirazi, half Tehrani. بچه شمرونم من. مامانم شیرازیه، بابام و خودم من خودم شمرون به دنیا آمدم. And so I was born in Shimron, part of Tehran. So did my dad. My mom was born in Shiraz, and I lived in Shiraz for 7 years. My childhood was in Shiraz.
Tafresh is a small town near Salve or Qom or Arak. Nice. That's cool. Interesting. Thank you. I'm going to refrain from answering that, actually, just in case. So thank you very much for that super chat. Really appreciate it.
My dad met my mom in Shiraz. My dad is a heart surgeon. My mom was a nurse, and I grew up close to where I grew up. Most of my childhood was 5 minutes away from the place my dad and I met. The alley that they walked with each other every day that they went to the hospital, because they all walked with each other to go to the hospital because they worked at the same hospital in Shiraz. Him as a doctor and she as a nurse.
That's really romantic. That's a good story. Thank you for that super chat question. I like that one.
Thank you.
And 40 Winks with the super chat. Thank you very much. Saying morale booster for Ali and his mods. Thanks for your research, dedication, and tireless work. You remain teachable and accept wise counsel. Well done. Yeah, I tell this to Armin all the time. I'm like, I just tell myself, like, dude, you're just not that good. Like, you're just not, like, you kind of suck. And then
you tell yourself that?
Yeah. But the way I tell myself that is that I tell myself, and that's okay. Like, I don't beat myself. It's not in a derogatory way. It's more of in a way of like, you can always do better. Like, you can always do something better, and stop blaming your external factors, because there's always something that you can do about it. And so whenever someone tries to correct me or teach me something, I'm immediately like, okay, tell me. Let me see if that makes sense to me. It's not like, oh no, you're trying to challenge my knowledge or my ego or anything like that. It's just like, okay, tell me, and if I can make something better with that knowledge, thank you so much. It's not a beat. I don't beat myself up at all. Like, there's no purpose in that for me.
That's similar to what I try to believe, is that I always try to believe that it's always my fault. And it's always my fault. So whenever things go wrong, I try to think this. instead of I sometimes fail at it, but instead of blaming other people, I always assume it's my fault.
Yeah,
Not
like
in
what
a
if
way.
it's wrong?
Yeah, I did something wrong. I shouldn't blame other people. If something is going wrong, it's my fault, and therefore it's my responsibility to fix it. Like, stop trying to look for blaming other people. Always assume it's your fault. It's your fault.
Yeah,
Because
I always just
blaming
say,
other people just removes their responsibility from me, and just points the finger at somebody and then wash my hands off of it. If I always assume it's my fault, then it will motivate me to find a solution.
yeah. At the same time,
But
I
not
know
in a
other
way
people
that,
did something wrong.
but not in a way that, like, for me to hate myself, right?
Yeah.
Is maximum acceptance of responsibility and maximum forgiveness of yourself for getting it wrong. Again, I'm not saying I achieve this, but that's my goal. Maximum acceptance of responsibility and also maximum forgiveness of you getting things wrong. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, it's like a little launching mechanism, little propellant. Thank you so much, 40 Winks, for the very kind words. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And then real quick to the mods. Guys, I don't know if you guys ban. I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying if anyone insults me, it's okay. Don't ban them. But if they go after someone in the chat and they start like really attacking them, ban them. They start really attacking them and they're saying some like profanity, making people uncomfortable, they're gone. And if you don't know, just ask me and I'll look at the chat and see. And with that,
that's pretty good. Wait, hold on. I need this. God damn it. You know the closing weight that I forgot what it is. I'm trying to slowly add Taiwan. Nail Bunny, help me out. Nail Bunny is here. How do we add Taiwan? And where do we add it?
Jiao, was it?
No, Nail Bunny, can you write it down? I'm not going to pronounce it right, so don't be picky with me. We're going to get the pronunciation right later. Let me just incorporate this in for now. Where's Nail Bunny? Nail Bunny, Taiwan. Give me Taiwan. Write it down.
We had a pretty big
oh, there we go. We got it
right now in Egypt. In Egypt and Israel is a 5.5 earthquake. It's pretty big.
Okay.
All right. Jiayu.
Taiwan Jiayu. Again, we're going to get the pronunciation right later. But for now, we're just going to try to work it in. So where do we add it in? Ukraine, Cuba Libre, Taiwan. Okay, right before America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Israel Chai. Oh, guys, first. First. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, now we do it. Israel Chai. Slava Ukraine. Cuba Libre.
Taiwan
Jiayu.
Long
live America. Javid
Shah. Payende.
Iran. See you guys.